We need to have a real talk here because what we're living through right now isn't just another bull market cycle. The global economy is overdue for a once-in-a-century economic reset. The kind historians will write about, documentaries will dramatize, and your grandkids will ask, holy shit, you lived through that? On the surface, right now, everything looks pretty okay. We're in a bull market, epic bull market, potentially one that surprises a lot of people to the upside still. Things will get real crazy. Asset prices are at all-time highs, investors are getting rich, but the financial markets and the real economy are widening at an ever-increasing rate, and AI is going to be a big reason for this to continue happening into the future. Job layoffs, the rising cost of living means that financial markets are a facade and that the system underneath still has a lot of systemic issues. Now, a great bull market will paint over the cracks for a while, but the AI bull market in particular will also break things down in a massive way and lead to an epic unemployment crisis. So let's break down what's happening and how to not only just survive the coming reset, but to profit from it massively, because you might only have a few years left to prepare before shit gets crazy, and you need to make it big before that happens. One final insane bull market before shit hits the fan. I mean, markets will always go back up again, but we could be in for a bit of a reckoning after this bull market. Let's start with a giant flashing red warning light that nobody wants to admit. Americans are simultaneously mega bullish in the stock market, but bearish on their own financial future. It's an interesting divergence. Consumer confidence in stocks is up big time. Everyone's getting rich, of course they are. Yet the University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index is down. These two lines normally move somewhat in sync, but right now they're moving apart at an increasing rate. This divergence can only last so long before reality actually catches up and something snaps. Because here's the very simple math that nobody really wants to face up to. Either wages have to shoot up dramatically after years of stagnation, or asset prices probably have to come back down to earth. And because of wage stagnation and higher than normal inflation, coupled again with AI and robotics probably going to take hundreds of millions of people's jobs in the Western economies over the next decade, your average household is struggling to save right now. The top 10%, they're making shit tons of money in the stock market. Everyone else not doing so great. Let alone do these bottom 90% have enough money to spare to buy assets like dog coins. Just look at the personal savings rate in the US. In the late 1970s, personal savings rates were around 13%. In 2012, it fell to 8%. In 2025, it's down to 4%. People are not building wealth. They're barely staying afloat. Meanwhile, corporate profit margins are climbing like never before, which again, fantastic if you're a stock investor. It's these profits, of course, that are going back to shareholders and straight into assets, pushing prices higher. All while the US housing market is at its most unaffordable level in history, and it's essentially frozen right now because of the rate situation. Back in the 1990s, the average home cost around 4 times household income, but in 2025, it's around 7 times. This is why people feel like they're working harder than their parents, but they're not really getting anywhere. You've seen the memes, you've seen the jokes, you know, the boomers with their houses, oh, you millennials just aren't working hard enough. And that's to an extent why the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer. It's hard to get yourself off of zero. So it's no surprise to see the total wealth of the top 10%, which is those with a net worth of more than $2 million, had a new all-time high of $113 trillion in Q2, up from $108 trillion in Q1. It's not a generational problem, it's a systemic failure. The math is broken, the system is broken. Most people can feel something isn't right, but they can't quite put their finger on it. And that's why a reset is coming. Because at some point, something has to give. You can't have the $38 trillion in debt and the demographic crisis and the AI unemployment crisis and all this shit happening at the same time. Plus Ray Dalio's warnings that we're nearing the end of the big cycle. Now, if you think the pressure is on only inside the USA, oh no. There are cracks appearing globally and they're spreading fast for all those things I just mentioned and more. Before we get into that though, guys, if you're trading the cryptocurrency markets, as you know, I think Bitcoin is one of the best life rafts for an uncertain future. You want a great place to buy, trade, sell. The place is BitUnix. Great place to be trading coins. One of the hottest exchanges in crypto right now. Here's the deal. When you sign up, you can get up to $700 in deposit bonuses. So you deposit $2,000, they're going to give you $400 back, $5,000, $500, and $10,000, $700 cash back. Crazy trading bonuses as well. No KYC, no VPN, be able to anyone, anywhere. That's you. You can start trading with freedom. The only question you have to ask yourself is, will you start taking your trading seriously and move to an exchange that respects you and your capital? The answer should be yes. Link down below. Look, it's pretty easy to understand that right now trust in the system is evaporating at a higher level than ever before, partially due to social media and the spread of information. The US dollar has been the world's reserve currency for around 80 years. Historically, reserve currencies only last for 80 to 110 years. The US is also sitting on, again, $38 trillion in debt. The US dollar has lost over 10% of its value already this year, and dollar dominance has declined sharply globally from 60 to 57% over the past 5 years. Central banks globally now preferring gold to US treasuries. There are cracks appearing in the system. You can add in political crises, immigration crises, all this kind of stuff. All of this means the timer on America's "we run the financial world" privilege is flashing red. Now, it doesn't mean that they lose everything and go to zero, but it does mean we have competitors rising, which are taking an increasing part of the market share, eating more and more of the pie. So the world is starting to hedge. Countries like China and India are buying gold and dumping U.S. debt at record levels. Now, China's U.S. Treasury holdings have dropped to the lowest level since 2009. Central banks now hold more gold than U.S. Treasuries for the first time in 30 effing years. Tides are shifting. Financial weaponization of the dollar has had severe impacts. And central banks haven't bought this much gold since the late 60s or early 70s, right before the last major monetary reset, when they took the dollar off of the gold standard. Look, gold isn't reaching new all-time highs by accident. It's a warning signal that the world is losing faith in the system. But here's where things get a little bit even spicier. The EU right now is searching for a way to finance Ukraine's defense and reconstruction efforts in 2026 and in 2027. Look, I don't care about how you feel about the war, Russia, Ukraine, any of that kind of stuff. There's $200 billion at question here, the fate of which will rock the financial world. So they froze $200 billion of Russia's bank deposits that were deposited in Western banks. It's not about sanctions anymore, it's financial warfare. And they're talking about stealing the $200 billion from Russia. That's a pretty crazy idea, and Brussels has currently said no to break every international treaty we ever signed. We didn't even do this to the Nazis in World War II, okay? But the moment you do that to a nuclear superpower, the message to every nation on earth is clear. Your money is not safe in the West and in the Western financial system. What's that do? You think China's not watching that? You think India's not watching that? Brazil and all the other countries that are not Western Europe and Northern North America and New Zealand, Australia, Japan, and South Korea? Everyone else is looking at that and going, holy shit, you got to get your money out of the West, because they will take anyone's money at a whim. The system is not to be trusted if they go through with this. And again, Brussels currently has said, no, that's crazy shit. We can't do that. We're going to get sued. Belgium is worried about the risk to themselves, not to the global financial system. The message basically is that your money is not safe in the West if we don't like you this week. And without trust, the entire Bretton Woods financial order collapses in on itself, because why would any BRICS nation or any other rising economy from Asia to Africa to South America leave their money in Western banks if they can do this to it? If they do it to Russia, they'll do it to other countries for even more bullshit reasons. Even the US knows the dollar is at risk. That's why stablecoins are being pushed as a way to extend US dollar dominance digitally before a BRICS currency or alternative system gains any type of real momentum. The writing's on the wall. Do you see the fucking big picture here? Ray Dalio, of course, been screaming about this literally for years. All empires fall the same damn way. Too much debt, too much money printing, too much internal conflict, and a loss of global trust. It happens every fucking time, and it's exactly what America's doing right now. Every box is being ticked. If you want to make sure you do not get caught off guard as all of this unfolds, you have to be prepared. Knowledge is power. The fact you're listening to this information now means you already had the vast majority of the people who are just going to be completely blindsided by it and fucked when their robot takes their job. By the way, if you want to get extra insights, our Wealth Master newsletter is free and awesome. Link down below. Look, it's enough of the doom and gloom. You should be aware of this. It's very real. Let's talk strategy. Let's talk how to not only survive, but thrive in this kind of environment. These types of economic resets, major changes in financial global world order, transfer the wealth from the unprepared to the prepared, which is going to be you, okay? You're going to be prepared. Ray Dalio puts it bluntly. Every empire goes through cycles of debt, money printing, asset bubbles, inequality, and conflict, and then they reset. Those who only own cash will get slaughtered, whilst those who own hard assets get through it stronger. So what do you actually need to do? Well, you need to understand the game. The winners of resets are those who own hard money, gold, silver, Bitcoin, real estate, things that are going to hedge you against inflation, things that are going to hedge you against a systemic crash. Cash flow is good. Real estate's good. Dividend stocks are good. Diversifying your portfolio of stocks away from any single economy is not a bad idea. High quality stocks you can buy for cheap after the crash. It is very strategic to be in cash at certain times. You can earn great yields on it in a lot of different places. But don't stop at just assets. Diversify your income streams. Invest in yourself and learn new skills. Start a business. One that ideally is going to survive economic turmoil. The more ways you earn, the more adaptable you can be. The less the reset can hurt you. People working 9 to 5s are going to be hurt the most. My honest take is that we're heading into a great repricing era. That means there'll be a time where assets drop hard, when you'll need as much spare cash as you can to buy the dip of the century. So the playbook is simple. Buy assets while they rise, but stay alert, okay? The good times will not last forever, and I think they go on for a few more years potentially, just FYI. But you need to start thinking ahead now and preparing, because the vast majority of people will get drunk on the euphoria, won't sell a fucking thing, and they'll go to zero again, okay? Don't let it be you. Don't do that to yourself or your family, okay? When the time comes, you need to shift defensive, stack cash, and prepare to buy quality assets at fire sale prices, and everybody says the world's over. The resets always create victims, but it will create a lot of new millionaires too. And you want to be in that category of people, okay? And the side that you land on depends on the moves that you start making today and over the next couple of years. That's it. Bye.